Well, good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here, WilhiteWX.com. We've got several little disturbances set to move through and a pretty big Arctic blast coming our way next week. So that's what we are going to talk about today. First off, it is Saturday. It's about 9:53 a.m. Central Time as I'm recording this from my weather office at my house. And we've got some snow that's going to move through today. It's not going to be a significant amount of snow for southern Indiana and just pretty much completely miss Kentucky the way things look. But as I put this into motion, you see later this afternoon and evening, just a small disturbance moves through. Now, looks can be deceiving here. This will be a very high ratio kind of snow event for those of you in northern Indiana. But for those of us in southern Indiana, probably nothing more than just some snow globe kind of snow showers where it's pretty. And, you know, it's cold, so maybe it might stick to something on an elevated surface, but not too much of anything. And then that moves out of here, and high pressure takes over for Sunday. So Sunday looks like a cold but pretty nice day overall. Again, as we take a look at the snow map, you know, a good swath of 1 to 2 inches, maybe even some 3-inch pockets as you head north of Indy, for example, here. But for those of us here, southern Indiana and into Kentucky, really just not looking at much of anything with this. You've got to get up really towards Indianapolis and northward, excuse me, before you see that. Now, here's what the high-res NAM is saying. That was the HRRR model that I was showing you, and there's that disturbance moving through tonight. It does look a little bit more boisterous on the way the coloring on this map is, but you can see, again, you know, 1 to 3 inch totals as you get north of Indianapolis there seem pretty reasonable with that. We dry out Sunday, but then we've got another disturbance moves through, and this is going to be a pretty powerful cold front. This is going to be the wake-up call for those of you that rode off winter. Winter is returning, and it's returning with a vengeance, and here it comes with this cold front. We're going to warm up in advance of it on Monday, and so that's going to be a nice brief reprieve, but whenever you get a big warm-up coming in January, in the wintertime period, you always fear what comes behind it, because with big warm-ups usually come big cool-downs, and that's certainly what we're going to have happen to us. And it's not even going to be that big of a warm-up, but we're going to hit upper 40s and maybe even into some 50s down towards Kentucky. So that's going to be a nice little reprieve on Monday. Some showers will break out, but unfortunately that cold front is going to turn those showers to some snow as quickly, just very, very quickly here. Now, the high-res model I'm showing you here only goes out to 60 hours. So, and again, I just want to show you here that it's not overly excited about a lot of snow on the back side of the system yet. So we'll have to see when that starts to come into range. Let me show you, though, we'll talk about temperatures in a minute. Let me show you, though, what the other, the lower resolution NAM is doing. And so here's that same time frame. All right, so here's 60 hours, and you see there's the rain there. Let me come back here with it, and you see, well, there's the rain, too, but what you notice is there is just not a lot of precipitation shield on the back side of this. Now let me, again, here that is. Let me go back to here, and you see, there it is. And there's a little bit of a heavier precip shield. As I put this into motion, you can see that it starts to get going a little bit better organized as you get over eastern Kentucky, and as it goes on out there. And then you watch these blue lines come in. That's just some major cold air funneling in there. Now, it's not as boisterous. It's some modest snows on this particular run. Again, let me show you through that one more time here. And what you'll notice with the 12Z NAM here is that, you know, for most of southern Indiana, western Kentucky, you might get a light coating out of this. It's nothing really significant. You've got to go well over here into eastern Kentucky before you get an inch or two. And the decent totals here are really over Appalachia and whenever you get more into the hilly and the mountainous terrain where you've got some of that lifting going on down there as a result, so and higher elevations, so you get more snow totals down there often than you do up here, but really not too much of an event for southern Illinois, southern Indiana, western Kentucky. An inch or two as you get closer towards maybe Bowling Green, Lexington, and then points off to the east for there. Well, that was this morning's run, but just let me show you last night's run just to show you that the data is ever changing, and here it was. And last night's run, you see that it just looks a lot more boisterous on it. This is as far as it goes out. Well, here was last night's run, and it doesn't go out as far. Again, it's a short-term model, but look at the winter storm that it has modeled, and then compare that with what it shows this morning. Again, here's last night's run, and then here's this morning's run. So you see there's some wide variance in the data, especially the high-res data this far out. And that's probably because it's not fully on shore yet. It is just now coming on shore today, so it's probably going to be tomorrow before we get a full sampling in the models. It's a very fast-moving Clipper system that's going to come through. So I think Sunday we'll be able to probably see a little bit enough of a consistency to put out a forecast. As of right now, though, folks, for those of us here, southern Indiana, western Kentucky, I'm tending to believe this is going to be more of a light coating to maybe an inch if we're lucky kind of an event on Monday night into Tuesday. It does not look like a significant deal to me. Now, if it trends that way on some of the other data, we'll see. But as of right now, it looks to me like the temperatures will probably be a little bit of a bigger deal, especially. So let's talk about those temperatures. Some very cold weather coming. As we go into Monday, we're going to warm up nice. Again, we might even hit 50 down here. 50 down here, maybe in southern Kentucky here. Upper 40s still here over much of Indiana. And then watch this. Here's this core of cold air, and then watch. Here's about noon Central Time on Monday. And then watch in the course of 6 hours. You get to 6 p.m. Just look at how far that front has advanced and the cold air that's coming with it. And so you're still, let's look at Evansville here. So you're 34 here at about 6 p.m. By the time midnight comes, you went from 34 to 19. So you've got just an impressive cold blast coming. So anything that we do have left over on the roadways, whether that be some rain that we've had during that day or some light snow coming down, could be considering another flash freeze kind of an event. Now, it's not going to be as heavy as a precipitation event as what we saw of the last big winter storm that we had come through, which really wasn't big snow-wise for many of us. Some of you, it certainly was. It was hit and miss on that. But, you know, certainly whenever you have temperatures crashing that hard, you could end up with a flash freeze kind of coming down on the area. So that's something that we're going to have to worry about. And then as we take a look and we continue on with the GFS model, it gets very cold, and you can see I'm going through now to Wednesday morning, and Wednesday you've got definitely some below zero up to our north here from Indy northward. It's actually taking us more into the single digits, but, you know, you see some of these, you're getting down here even to Bedford around 6 and even around 8, maybe in Crawford County there, and down here in Spencer County around 10 or so. So you get the idea. It's going to be very cold. Now, this is a little bit warmer than what some of the data had been showing, so this is still going to be fine-tuned as we go forward. But keep in mind, to get below zero down here, you really need a snowpack for the most part. It can get that cold if it's a significant cold blast. It has gotten below zero with no snow here before. It happens, but it is pretty rare. And if you get double digits below zero, you've got to have some snow on the ground down here. There's just no question about that. So I still think below zero could be possible with this. But at the same time, you know, I think single digits probably being the most likely scenario for most of us. And we'll trend that as we get closer. Euro data here for Evansville suggests here's what you see on the cold blast there. And again, by the time you hit Tuesday and you go forward, you've got some significant days. You got at least 5 days here below freezing here. And then look at these temperatures, 12, 9, 3, 8, 12. And that's some of the warmer side of the data. The good news is, look at this. We do start to moderate next weekend and beyond after that. So it's not going to be a cold blast that lasts forever. See that a little bit better visually on the GFS ensembles. This was the Euro ensembles I was showing you. GFS ensembles really has a nice way of showing that, but notice the data is cooler. So by the time you get to Wednesday, we're only looking at a high of 14, and we're looking at 3 and 1 degrees on the ensemble data. Again, that's flirting right close to zero or below zero, and I think that's certainly possible over portions of the area. And we stay overall Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Again, there's 4 days below zero, and then you're really close, below freezing rather, and really close on that Saturday before you hit that nice warming trend for beyond as well. So it does look like we will moderate from this. I don't think February is going to be just bitterly cold, all of it, but it certainly will start out in January and open February on that bitterly cold side. For what it's worth, here's the official National Weather Service forecast. If you see these NWS, NDFD, that's National Weather Service, National Digital Forecast Database. Basically, it takes the forecasts from the National Weather Service offices all over the country, puts them in a digital database where we can make nice graphics out of here. And so this is their official forecast. And you see they don't have below zero here for Evansville, but it is really close. And you're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. There's your significant cold blast with highs flirting around 20 degrees for a few days and lows 5, 6. It's going to be downright cold. Look, whether you get below zero by a degree or two, or whether you stay 5 degrees, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be cold. So the best thing to think about in terms of this more is in terms of preparation. Have you winterized your houses? You know, have you got the water shut off to your outdoor hydrants? Unless you've got a non-freezing hydrant, and even this cold, could still freeze up. Do you have that kind of prepped? Do you have some extra mulch over some of your more sensitive plants that can't take brutally cold temperatures, things like that? It doesn't really matter whether we're -5 or +5. It's going to be brutally cold either way. And of course, the wind chills with this is just going to be ridiculously even colder than this. So just now's the time to prepare for the cold blast. Again, I don't see a tremendous amount of snow for us on this. I kind of tend to agree more with the morning NAM. I don't think this is going to be a major winter storm for those of us in southern Indiana and most of Kentucky. This positioning is probably going to waffle a little bit as to where you get the 1 to 2 inch snows. And I would argue that really anywhere in this region could get maybe an inch or two of snow out of this possible. I think you'll see the data kind of waffle back and forth a little bit, but just prepare that we could have a little bit of snow on the ground. But the bigger story by far, folks, is going to be the big cold that's coming. And whether you look at an official forecast or the raw model data, it doesn't really matter. It's cold no matter what. So now's the time to prepare. I'll have some more updates as we get closer to time, folks. Let's get the other models in. Let's get this storm fully sampled. I'll have an update for you tomorrow. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Follow me on Twitter at WilhiteWX, Southern Indiana Weather on Facebook.